People say you cannot fit a razor blade between the stones of Pumapunku. They say machines must have cut them, that the precision is impossible. But before believing that, look at the stone. What does it actually show us? From a distance, the first thing you notice is the size. Massive blocks of andesite sit across the ancient landscape, but size is only the beginning. Look closer. Flat surfaces, sharp corners, clear angles, different faces meeting in deliberate geometric forms. These shapes suggest intentional shaping, but now look closer still. The stones are not perfect. Some areas are smooth, others are rough. Weathering has softened parts of the edges. Small irregularities remain across the surfaces, and that matters. We can see deliberate geometry, and we can also see the imperfections of ancient stone. Both exist at the same time. The stone shows us the result. It does not show us the entire process. We can see what was produced, but not every step that produced it. Now, think about the scale. Put a person beside one of these blocks. The size becomes difficult to ignore. But the challenge was not simply weight. A stone this large had to be selected, prepared, moved, and positioned. Each step created its own problem, and there was not just one block. There were many. That changes the question. How was the entire process organized? Because this was not only a problem of strength, it was a problem of planning, coordination, labor, and time. People had to work together. Stones had to be prepared, moved, and positioned within a larger plan. Now look at the geometry again. A broad surface meets a sharp corner. Another face continues beyond it. The shape shows control, but it does not tell us exactly how that control was achieved. That is an important limit. A finished surface shows us the result. It does not tell us every tool that was used, or every movement made by the people who shaped it. This is where some modern stories go too far. The stones are sometimes presented as proof of impossibly advanced machines. But the appearance of a stone cannot prove a specific technology. At the same time, calling the work simple would ignore what is clearly visible. The stones were deliberately shaped, yet they are also ancient, weathered, and imperfect. They do not need to be perfect to be remarkable. So ask a better question. How much precision was actually required, and how much skill and labor would that demand? Now step away from one stone. Look across the site. There are massive blocks spread throughout the landscape. Some remain standing. Others have fallen. Some are partly buried. One stone is one problem. Many stones are another. Now we are looking at something much bigger. Labor, planning, transportation, coordination, time. The material had to be selected. The blocks had to be shaped. They had to be moved, and they had to be positioned. That may be the greater achievement, not simply shaping one enormous stone, but organizing the entire process. And here we have to be honest about what we do not know. There is no complete record of every stage. Some details remain uncertain, but uncertainty does not mean there is no evidence. We can see the geometry, the scale, the weathering, and the stones across the landscape. Those are the facts in front of us. The real challenge is separating those facts from the stories built around them. We do not need supernatural technology to recognize an extraordinary achievement, but we should not underestimate the people who created it. They worked without the industrial machines we take for granted, yet they transformed enormous pieces of volcanic stone and organized them into a monumental landscape. So perhaps the real mystery is simpler. Was shaping the stones the harder problem? Or was organizing the entire process even harder? maybe Pumapunku is fascinating for a different reason. The stones are not impossible, but they are still difficult to fully explain. And the closer we look, the more important it becomes to separate what we can see from what we think we know. That is where the real investigation begins.